Good afternoon and welcome to the EPP Group press conference on the Deforestation Law. As you know, the European Parliament has just adopted the changes the EPP Group proposed to make the Deforestation Law fit for purpose, and it has agreed to postpone the implementation of the law for 1 year. For the EPP Group, it has been Christina Schneider, on my right, who has negotiated the law, and I will give the floor to her to explain the EPP Group's position.
Yeah, thank you so much. Very welcome, and thank you that you are being here. I'm very happy that we today as EPP got a majority in the Parliament for our amendments. Today was the first chance after the European election to deliver what we promised, to reduce bureaucracy. And not only the EPP have promised that, but nearly every other political group. The EPP aim to stop illegal global deforestation. That is very important for me to pronounce, but without overburden European farmers, companies or international trading partners with cutting red tape. That's why the EPP Group has called for a delay, but postponement alone is not enough. To reduce administrative burdens, the EPP Group proposed change to the current legislation. The EPP insists that the law should not be implemented until the data platform is fully working and a risk classification system is in place. The EPP Group also believes that countries with no deforestation should be excluded instead of putting pressure on these countries with costly and complex bureaucracy and requirements. We want to encourage them to protect their forest proactively. We don't want to punish those who have already done their homework. The Commission has promised to reduce the burdens on businesses by cutting back and bureaucracy barriers. It is already working on reducing unnecessary requirements, removing double regulation with other laws, and limiting reporting obligation to the minimum without changing the goals of the law. In other words, exactly what we aimed to achieve with some of our amendments. And by the end of the year, an updated version of the guidelines and a frequently asked question will be available to provide all stakeholders with new information. This is why we as EPP withdrew some of our amendments before the vote, because we have the clear declaration of the Commission. The EPP Group is convinced that an update law can be agreed before Christmas if the political groups work together. We urge everyone who is seriously about cutting red tape to take this seriously. With the support of all member states of the European Parliament, we have the chance to turn our words into action. We can truly cut bureaucracy, something the European Parliament promised. So let's go to work. And I'm open for your question. Thank you.
Just a few remarks before we go to the questions. This is a meeting which takes place in a hybrid mode, so there are journalists connected also from outside this room. The priority for the questions go to you who came here. But please, since there is no interpretation, ask your questions slowly and clearly so that everybody can understand. Also, please introduce yourself and tell us which media you work for when you take the floor, because this is a meeting for the journalists and only the journalists will be able to ask questions. So let's start over there.
Jana Hammersmeyer for AFP News Agency. I have a question regarding the commitments that you talked about coming from the Commission. Could you specify what you got in exchange from the Commission for taking back these amendments?
Yes, we discussed a lot about our amendments, trader and operators, because we think if it's proof that we have products without deforestation, it makes no sense to prove it all along the supply chain. We must stop deforestation, and the Commission said very clearly they will look at the guidelines and the FAQs, how we can declare that not all companies have to do always the same work. And that's the promise they gave, and so we don't need any more of these amendments.
Next question, yes.
Marek Majewski, German Press Agency. Some of the amendments only passed because politicians from the AfD voted in favor of them. Do you see any problem with that? Thank you.
I saw that all amendment passed because Renew and also S&D members supported our amendment. That's clear. I have...
For some of the amendments, the AfD votes were essential. There were minor differences between passing and votes in favor and against. And I have the voting list right in front of me. I found so far 2 amendments that only passed with the AfD votes.
I have also a look what my office gave me, and I saw also the votes in the S&D and the Renew. And for me, it's clear that I don't work together in front to table amendments with the far-right groups, but they supported the amendments because they thought they go in the right way. And in the past, we have also such situation when the far-right supported the lefts in the parliament. So they are all members of the parliament.
I think that was clear. Next question.
Good morning, and thank you very much. Vincenzo Genovese from Euronews. On Amendment 11, on the no-risk countries, so-called no-risk countries, I am wrong if I say that this means that there will be no checks for if the products have caused deforestation in the so-called no-risk countries. And then more in general, if you consider these amendments a substantial change to the deforestation law, and if you fear that the Commission could oppose the amendments or withdraw the proposal. Thank you very much.
Yes, no risk does not mean that there are no diligent statements, but we have really look very careful when now we negotiate in the trialogue what is really necessary that we fulfill our targets of the deforestation regulation. And if we are honestly, the deforestation regulation is to stop the deforestation, for example, in the Amazonas. And we have really concentrated on these countries who make deforestation, and not to look how we can document in countries where we know we have a sustainable forest management. If a country can prove that they have a sustainable forest management, that they secure the prima forest, the things that are in a Natura 2000, so we must look how we can put documentation from them, because we must show them that if they do their homework and if they fulfill the targets we want to reach, that they don't have to do the same work than the countries who doesn't secure our nature and our forest.
More questions. Sofia.
Yes, hello, Sofia Sanchez from Euractiv. Are you concerned that the no-risk category could create disparities among EU member states? Maybe countries with more forest cover, Finland, Nordic, could be low risk, and other countries could be no risk, distorting the single market? And also, could this no-risk category give preference to trading partners? Maybe China, some MEPs are saying, could be considered no risk. So what do you think about this?
And that's the reason we have look really very careful how we create the risk classification, and that's now the job we have to do in the trilogue.
Behind Sofia.
Thank you. Silvia Yuso from El País newspaper. It's a follow-up on my colleague from DPA. You're aware that there's people are saying now they call the Venezuela coalition, so EPP is siding for some proposals with the far right. It's happened with Venezuela, that's the name of it, and this would be, according to some European deputies, the first time that it's happened in a legislative proposal. This happens also in the midst of the negotiations for the new commission, which are stalled, and the EPP is clearly or is being accused of going out of the traditional coalition of not put by the demands. What do you say to the accusation that you're siding again and every time more with the far right, playing with the far right when it goes in your advantage, and at the same time saying that you're still in the von der Leyen alliance, as they say? I mean, using the popular words, a term for that.
I didn't play with the far right. I will underline this, that it's completely clear. I try to talk to all colleagues from the von der Leyen coalition. With some I could talk, and to find ways. But if I see there is no movement in the S&D, I try to find a solution also with colleagues from the Renew. And for me, it's important. I'm responsible for that, I promised, in my member state, but also in the European Parliament. We are all elected, every member here in the Parliament, to do our work, not to discuss ideological things, to do our work and to deliver. And that I did. I promised that I will find ways to make this proposal workable, not to reduce or to water down, to make it workable. And that was my job, and I did it.
Okay, I think we can take two questions from the online. I give the floor to Virginie.
Yes, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yeah, good day. Virginie Malang, French newspaper Le Monde. I have several questions. Do you think that there should be a new vote on the text you have just voted on this morning because of the technological problems with some IT cards? I mean, on some amendments, the vote has been very tight. So do you think you should vote again because of that? To come back to the zero category question you've been asked some minutes ago, I didn't understand your answer actually, because China could be considered as a zero risk category country, and amongst the 27 there will be some low risk and some zero risk, which will create a kind of distortion in the single market. So what do you expect from the member states regarding that amendment? And my last question is, which other text regarding the Green Deal package should be, in your view, amended to lower the bureaucracy in the same way you did for deforestation? What is your next target, to be clear?
At first, the last day were work enough, so I won't concentrate on the next target. The next target from me is the negotiation in the trilogue about deforestation regulation, and that we can reach a majority for that. The Parliament today decided. In the past, there were also results about the question about repeating votes. I don't think that we can repeat votes if the result is the way we like it. And the technical problems, it's not my task to answer. There you must ask someone else. And about China and the zero risk classification, for me is not clear. Why you say always then is China in the zero risk classification. We have at the moment only 3 classification, then will be, if with your arguments, China in the low risk classification. We have to look that we get this member states who has sustainable forest management in the zero risk classification. That's my task that I want to reach.
We move to Eva, Bloomberg Online. Are you still there, Eva?
Today is the day of the technical problems.
We don't hear anything. Unfortunately, we don't hear you.
Let's now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Oh, that's great. I'm having some problems with the camera, so sorry you can't see me. I've got a question about the trilogue. The position of the Parliament now is somewhat different from what the Commission proposed. It goes beyond the Commission's proposal to delay. It's also in contradiction to what the Council agreed. what if those two sides do not agree to the amendments proposed by the EPP? Will you be ready to accept the proposal as tabled by the Commission, or will you try to push forward and risk exceeding the deadline, which is the 30th of December? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. At first, there's the possibility to underline again that the important things for us, we fight it over a month. That is the postponing for 1 year. That is very important, and I said since the beginning the EPP will not endanger the postponement. And there is a great majority in the Parliament, also in the Council and also in the Commission. I get also the answer from the Commission. For them it's also important to postpone 1 year. And the second thing, I'm in contact with the Council Presidency, also with the Commission, and the Commission also want to clear things that are not clear, who make clarification and simplification. For the Commission, it was very clear in the past that they don't want to denature, and it's clear with our amendment we tabled, and the majority now we have, that we don't denature the deforestation regulation. And so it's clear, and for me, that we can find a solution. The problem will not be on the side of the Commission. We will see how the member states will behave, and I always can pronounce, if everybody takes serious what we say in the Parliament in all member states, that we don't want to reduce the targets, but we will look how we can fulfill them better, because then we also can more secure our nature. Documentation does not secure nature. And if we are all together in this point, I'm sure that we can find very fast an agreement, and there's no problem to save it in front of Christmas.
An important message. Let's take one last question online. Alice from Financial Times.
Hi, thank you for taking my question. It was just... Can you hear me? Sorry, I realised the mic was not...
Yes.
Hi, sorry. It was just a quick question to ask if you had checked legally to ensure that the new no-risk category would still maintain the Deforestation Law's WTO compatibility. Thanks.
Thank you so much. We have to do this, that's clear.
Okay, go ahead, yes. No, you. I don't know you, sorry.
Hi, Marlene Stocker, ORF. You've spoken in your opening lines about delivering on our promise, and all the groups need to work together. I've spoken with some of the groups that you've made the deal with. You've come to an agreement in the last term. The proposal has gone through a trilogue, and the criticism was that basically you're now following the rule book of Christian Lindner to reopen proposals after they have been discussed. What do you say to this criticism?
Sorry, please, can you repeat? What is with Christian Lindner?
You're following in the footsteps of Christian Lindner. You're using the rule book of Christian Lindner of reopening files that have already been discussed and fully agreed within the three institutions, have gone through a trilogue. What do you say to this criticism?
I can promise you that I don't follow Christian Lindner. I'm a member of the Christian Democrats in Germany.
I think that we can take one last question and then we wrap it up. Please.
Yes, thank you very much. Danielle Weber with the Luxembourg Public Radio. It's kind of a follow-up to my colleague. Your own Christoph Hansen, MEP and a commissioner in SPE, he still seems to be in favor of the text negotiated amongst EU institutions. Do you consider it logical or normal to reopen a text that had been finally discussed? Will it be, the EPP way in the future to open every text that has already been negotiated? Thanks.
No, we don't want to reopen everything, but I think the Parliament would be a good idea if we look really careful how we can success and how we can fulfill our targets, our goals we have set us. And not the Parliament reopened the deforestation regulation because we are not able to do this. The Commission reopened it because they saw that they cannot fulfill what we decided in last year. I think this is really responsible politics. If you see that you have decided something, that doesn't work in the way you want it, then we must also have the possibility to change. And I always underline that it's clear we don't change the targets. We only want to cut red tape.
And with that, I would like to thank you. Thank you for coming, and see you next time.
Thank you.